Hello and welcome to Duck Hunt. I am Draz, and in this video I am bringing you Ghostbusters Sanctum of Slime. Who doesn't like Ghostbusters? I mean, I was brought up on them as well as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's my era. I can remember as being a child and having the fire station, if anyone remembers that, where you poured the slime in and it all came down and glooped and went all over everything, and then your parents got pissed off with you because it got all over the carpet. That's my generation. You just don't get toys and stuff like that anymore. But anyway, enough about my childhood, and on to the actual game itself. It is published by Atari and developed by Behaviour. I don't know who Behaviour are, but obviously Atari is Atari. If you don't know who Atari are, you obviously need to go out and do some research, because you're really not a gamer unless you do know. It's an action adventure game. I guess it's along the similar lines to Alien Breed, I think, if that's the right game I'm thinking of. There are multiple modes in this. You can go single player, multiplayer, co-op. I think there's a local co-op as well, so you can do it across the LAN. I can't actually move my mouse on here. It's a console port, so the actual navigation through the system is quite limited. I'm having to use escape and arrow keys and all these different things to move about. There is a leaderboard in here. Nobody's actually on it, and if I quickly scroll through, because obviously there's no like let's just move across like you would on a normal PC game. There's 12 levels as far as I can make out, but this is the demo, so there may be more within the actual real game itself. And in most games now we get some achievements, and there's a few achievements here, 12, if I can count properly. So there we go. We go to the options and go to controls. You can clearly see that it's designed for a controller. Navigation is designed that way, and the gameplay is kind of like that, and you'll see what I mean when we actually get into it. But there are keyboard settings. I'm not overly happy with them myself, because you have got the functionality of using ASDW for moving. However, the enter key, which you'll be using all the time as I speak, is on the far side. You can use the arrow keys, but it's still not what I'm wanting. But we'll get into that more when we go into the game. On the settings, you'll see I've got the music off. That's simply because it does have the original song, you know, the theme song, but I don't have a separate program for recording audio at the moment, so it kind of fits me combating with the music, which some of you may think is a fantastic thing. I personally don't, because I want to hear myself. And is there anything else? No, I don't think so. You've got language and credits, but we don't really want to go into that. So let's go into the actual game itself. Here, can't use my mouse. That's just really, really annoying. I want to be able to use my mouse. I have a mouse for a reason. You know, I didn't buy a 2000 DPI mouse to use my keyboard to scroll about everything. We've got new characters. We don't have Igor or Vakeman, unfortunately. I don't know why they've actually put these new guys in. Personally, I don't see what the issue is. If you've got the actual rights to make a Ghostbusters game from the franchise, then you should be able to use the characters from the game. But obviously not. I'm going to go for this guy. He looks as if he's squatting because he's holding on to the toilet. But he is wearing an ass hat. So who wouldn't play a character with an ass hat? Let's go for Alan. We do only have the option of doing Asylum Brawl, so I guess we're limited to that. And I don't actually know whether, if I pick this, if I actually work out what I'm saying. If I pick the controller, whether I can't use the keyboard, but I'm not going to do that because that might mess up what I'm trying to do in this video. Yes, the cutscenes there are no cutscenes. It's basically a comic book style. A lot of people may enjoy this. I personally don't, because I've not really been brought up on comics. I don't read comics. I generally don't find them interesting. They kind of bore me to an extent. But it could be more for the American market. I know a lot of Americans love their comics, and I'm not saying they're bad, they're just not for me. People from UK and Europe, I don't know what your feelings are on comics and stuff like this. I'll have to kind of skip through this because I get bored. But if you want to actually read the story, you can just keep pausing it at the end of each one and then read it yourself. because it's obviously going to be a very in-depth, amazing storyline, and you're just going to be on the edge of your seats, I can guarantee it. And here we go. I've got a gun. I can small and stun enemies. It does work on that you have different colour enemies, so you have different colour weapons. So here we are. So actually, I've changed my graphical settings so that I'm on 1280 by 720. When I had it on my actual monitor settings of 19 by 20, I think, 10 over 180, the mouse was very sluggish, and it was kind of annoying because it limited the amount I could actually move about, and stuff was catching me up. And it's not because I'm crap at gaming, obviously, but it's because I couldn't actually press the buttons and move quick enough. Another thing that I find a little bit irritating is that I can't press 1 and 2 like I would in an FPS to change my weapon. I have to use the mouse to scroll up and down, which is not the best thing, but what can you say, it's a console port, it's just designed for a bit of fun. You are going to see how epic my skills are. I died quite a lot when I first played this, just messing about to practice, see what the game was like. You'll notice that you use your mouse to kind of aim and point, and then you just shoot in that general direction. It's quite typical of a game of this genre. I believe Alien Breed is a similar type. And because I'm going up against some red monsters, I get to shoot with my red beam, my red gun. It's funky cool. These are like maggots with arms. Armux maybe? I don't know what you'd want to call them. Ugly little bastards, I guess, would be a more apt choice. You'll see on the actual character bars at the top, we've got our own little colours. That is our health, the actual bar itself, so I've taken some damage. I've not really registered or noticed. I'm just going to shoot about, because who wouldn't if you have one of these. Unfortunately, there's not a cross the beams feature, which kind of upsets me, especially as there's one in Magicka but not one in a proper Ghostbusters game. It does bode the question as to why, because it would have been nice to have. It would have probably made it more interesting, but then I guess we've been spoiled with Magicka, so there's not a lot you can really say. As you can see, I can get rid of these actual talking bits that are coming up on the left hand side. However, I have to take my fingers off WASD and go and press enter, so it's not exactly the most ideal way to be playing, if I'm quite honest. This level is a series of going from one room to one room, one room. The doors will lock, you fight some monsters, your doors will lock, you fight more monsters. From the screenshots I've seen of later levels, it's not all like this, but for this one it is. And these guys are quite funny. I love how they just spin around with numpties. It just makes it a bit more entertaining. I probably won't go through the whole of the demo gameplay, simply because I'm not fortunate enough to be a partner at the moment, so I don't have the actual time, and I don't really want to split the video up into loads and loads of different parts. So there we go. They were defeated, so now we can enter the next one. No, I'm finding it a lot easier now. I've actually reduced the settings on my monitor. The reason why I wasn't going to do it in the first place is because when I first did it, it actually put it to the size that a 1280 monitor would be, and then a massive black border around the outside, and it didn't seem to want to actually not do that. It does seem that the demo is quite finicky, so if you are going to test the game out on this first, using the demo, then be aware that you might get a few niggling problems. So I had a problem with the sound to start with, it kept turning on and off. I set it to low, and then I'd exit the menu after accepting, and it would put it straight back again. So I had to shut the demo down and turn it back on. But you know, it is a demo, and nothing's going to work perfectly first time with all the will in the world. Some of these big companies and developers don't get it right, so you can't expect some small ones. I personally thought this was the exact same as the beginning room, but maybe it's not, because when I've finished in here, I go into a completely different area. It's quite strange. I believe they may have stolen these flying skulls from Doom, possibly. Could have been a bit of inspiration. I don't remember there being flying skulls in the original Ghostbusters, but then I didn't read the story properly at the beginning, so maybe that was an indication as to what's going on, and me talking has just got myself killed. I'm not really paying attention too much. I actually don't know how to heal people when they've been on the floor, so that might be something for me to try and find out at some point. As for gameplay, it's quite smooth, it's quite responsive. If I tell it to do something, it generally does it. I'm just complete rubbish at this game, so I die a fair bit. It's not something I'd be playing all day every day. I don't think it's got an amazing amount of I don't know, draw for me to want to play it all the time. However, it could be a game that you could come onto when you're feeling a bit, I don't know, as if you don't want to get really in depth in whatever game you're playing. I mean, at the moment I'm big into my StarCraft 2, so it's nice to have a little break playing something else. I'll probably do one more room after this and then call it, I guess, because there's not a lot else I can show you, because it's all pretty much of a much. I've got 2 guns, well, guns, same gun, but 2 abilities within the gun, and I just keep spamming them. There is a function to throw down a trap, but I don't seem to be able to do that, so I assume that's simply for when you are fighting the big bosses, because I'm trying to do it now and it won't let me not. So it is I don't know, it's quite fun. It's not fantastic by any stretch of the margin. Would I rather play Alien Breed? Possibly, although I got quite bored of that, so maybe these just aren't my types of games to be playing. But I thought it deserved a go simply for the fact it's Ghostbusters, and I'm really looking forward to the new Ghostbusters film whenever that comes out, because it is being made and all the old cast are in it, as far as I can see. Don't know what the plot will be, I've not really looked into it, but yeah. Now the doctors have gone absolutely psychotic. It looks like some big monsters done a big massive snot ball on the building, because there seems to be snot everywhere, which is quite disgusting. Makes me feel a little bit sick if I'm completely honest. Look, it's moving. It's moving. Ugh, that's just disgusting. Oh no, little bugs trying to kill me. Come on, where are you? Look, they haven't even got the decency to pick up the wheelchairs after they've knocked people out. That's just like really bad. Even for ghosts, I mean, I know that, you know, we all see ghosts as being these evil people and, you know, come and kill you and harass you when you're asleep and all this sort of stuff, but at least I could pick the wheelchair up. Come on, that's just a bit harsh. Well, anyway, that's been me playing Ghostbusters Sanctum of Slime. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave feedback, and until next time, farewell.